Yeah, Silent Hill TDS, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W. Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. Hey. L Boogie with the hot flame, ashtray full of top names, little tree for your membrane. This the 9-hour time frame. I just snatched up a 6-pack, got my hands on a lid pack, whipping up a little batch of snacks. Yeah, man, I think I'm all set. Late night, can't sleep. Go ahead and just tap in. Better grab you a cold one, and we about to get some laughs in. Wild card on the microphone, he'll hit you with a couple flurries. Y'all need to just strap in for some entertainment sports commentary. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. Hey. Wild card mark. Wild card mark. I.O.W. Late night sports. Wild card mark. Wild card mark. I.O.W. Late night sports. Wild card mark. Wild card mark. I.O.W. Late night sports. Wild card mark. Wild card mark. I.O.W. Late night sports. Hey.
Give me a second, let me light up real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, welcome to the I.O.W. Sports Late Night Hour Edition, hosted by Mr. Modelo himself. You already know the name by now. You know what I'm saying? Wild Card Mark. You already know the vibe. Pull up, let's go.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark.
Yo. What's happening? Hey, I told y'all, man, I be on some CPT time. It is what it is. But I'm here. I am here. Wildcard Mark in the building with a very late edition of the Late Night Hour Show. But hey, it's here. So don't jump on me too bad. All right? Don't jump on me too bad. But y'all know the deal. Shout out to my guy, 40 Water, Silent Hill TDS. Shout out to my guy, make the dope intro. Tap in with him. YouTube, Hitchhikers. Hey, it's only right. Go show my guys some love. And of course, while you over there, I.O.W. Sports Network, Facebook, Instagram. Most importantly, here on the YouTube, I.O.W. Sports Network. Again, make sure you like, share, subscribe, spread the word what we got going on, and hit that bell notification. Ding! Let you know every time we drop new content or go live. I.O.W. Sports 1 on the Twitter. Hey, you want to chop it up with me, talk sports personally with me, go on over to the Twitter page, KC Wildcard Mar, Facebook and Instagram. And of course, hey, I love it. Shout out Sideline Sports. Shout out to Let's Talk Sports. Shout out to Man Down Sports. Shout out to 613 Freight Productions. My brothers over there. The Man Cave Sports Podcast. Shout out to Man Down Sports. Shout out to Bottom Line Sports. All this whole podcast bubble that we got going. Hey, my man Italy Jet. Hey, what you doing up, man? What you doing up, my brother? Shout out to Italy Jet. Tap in with all my guys' content right there. Man. I know I'm starting a little late, but it's all good. I had some production over at 613 Freight Production I had to handle. Just added some more to my plate. I know I'm podcasting like a mug, dog. Hey, it's because I'm working out. I'm trying to get this thing popping where every time that y'all see my face, I get paid for it and talk. And, you know, I'm trying to monetize this thing. So just rock with me. We're going to keep working it out. I know I'm a night owl too, my dude. I know. That's why I got a late night owl show. So I understand. So, hey, man, for those, hey, I watch all sports. I watch all types of sports. I definitely been into WNBA more this year than I have in previous years. I just think that the ladies put on a fantastic content. Product is good. I know a lot of people say, "Oh no, it's not." But hey, they're in the playoffs. Playoffs kicked off tonight. Minnesota Lynx got a beat down. They got a severe beat down by the Connecticut Sun, and then the Chicago Sky got beat up by the Las Vegas Aces. Obviously, the Las Vegas Aces are damn sure a title, favorite. They're definitely, poised to be the, prohibited WNBA champions. I mean, I don't know what else you can say. It's pretty much, Vegas, the New York Liberty are right under them, as in, record wise. Connecticut Suns, they're not too far off, and then you got Dallas. Those are pretty much your four favorites. But out of all four of those, the Las Vegas Aces are definitely your favorite. More than likely, I'm it's probably going to be an Aces Liberty finals. I would love to see that because your two best teams in the WNBA doing their thing, going at it, toe to toe, blow for blow. Let's see who is the better team. So I'm gonna definitely keep my eyes peeled to the WNBA playoffs. Hey, it ain't for everybody, but I'm a sports lover. I'm a fan of the ladies doing their thing on the basketball court. They're definitely far more skilled than a lot of you guys. I'm trying to tell you, y'all really think you know it. If you can hoop, and you think you can play better than a woman that plays in the WNBA, yeah, good luck. She'll put you on skates too, so don't get it twisted. Smitty, what's up, my guy? What's up with Smitty? How you doing, my guy? Hope all is well with you, Smitty. Always a pleasure to chop sports with Smitty, man. Hey, and this is not a diss to you, Smitty. I've never seen a troll game better than Smitty. He's witty with the troll game, and that's a compliment. That's a compliment. All right. But no, always a pleasure. Man, come on, chill, Smith. You may drop a few of them. You ain't gonna drop all of them. I'm telling you, you're gonna get dropped more than you drop them. I'm just saying. I'm just calling it what it is. All right. I'm just calling it what it is. But let's start here. NBA, since I was just talking about WNBA, let's talk about the fellas of the world of basketball. So the NBA, they came down with some new rules. All right, some new rules. All right, they're getting tougher on arresting policy and penalties. And hey, I know why they're doing it. We'll get to why they're doing it in just a second. But it's I'm not going to say it's long overdue, but it is nice to see that Adam Silver is trying to do things in the best interest of, the fans. At the end of the day, no fans, no money is getting made. So let's kind of hear what Adam Silver had to say.
One thing I want to make clear, that the message to our teams and players is not that rest is never appropriate. And I realize there's a bit of an art to this, not just a science, and that's with the hands-on trainers and coaches who are talking to players and saying, how do you feel? I'm certainly not saying that's not relevant. We're trying to deal with some of the most egregious examples where multiple star players, for example, healthy, all out on the same night, healthy. And I think we're letting down the fans, we're letting down our partners by doing that. The adoption of the policy was unanimous. There was full support from the Players Association.
All right. That's just Adam Silver briefly kind of outlining the new resting rule It says the rule will ultimately give the league office authority for greater oversight over discipline for missed games and an ability to fine teams more than $1 million for each instance of violating the rest rules. I mean, to me, I don't mind it. And the reason why I don't mind it is because think about it. You've been you've been working hard. Some people don't even like their damn jobs. I mean, we could be honest. Some people don't like their damn jobs, but they were working hard. They got a son or they got a daughter. Okay. And they want to go see one of their favorite teams. For instance, last year, remember the Dallas Mavericks pretty much rested pretty much all their team but Luka, and he only played a quarter. And so imagine you take all that hard-earned money that you didn't work your ass off for, and you done promised your son or daughter, hey, we're gonna go see Kyrie and Luka and the rest of the squad, and next you know they resting healthy. As a fan, that's a turnoff. As a fan, that is a turnoff. Because it's like, yo, you get paid an excellent amount of money to play a game that children play. And you can't show up. You can't. So here's one thing that I admire about Kobe Bryant. R.I.P. to the Mamba. He said, he was asked one time, why do you always, even when injured, why do you always go out and play the game? And I remember his response was, not only do I love playing basketball, but I would think it was a huge injustice not to show up for the fans who worked with their hard-earned money to pay us play basketball. And that always stuck with me. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing. I'm not verbatim on what exactly the quote was, but I do remember that story being told. And that should matter. That should matter. You as basketball players in the NBA, you are here and getting all those riches because we keep consuming the product. You take away the consumption of the product, what do you have? I tell you what you have. You have a bankrupt league. Matter of fact, for those who aren't historian on NBA, the NBA was starting to go bankrupt. Teams were starting to go bankrupt in the late 70s going into the 80s. And y'all, if you know basketball, you know what revived the NBA in the 80s. Matter of fact, they were still taping the NBA finals. I can only imagine social media nowadays, back in those days where, the covers would be crazy, but they literally were still taping the NBA finals. Like you would have to wait till either the newspaper came out about the result of the game. There wasn't no instant, answers to sports. There wasn't. Matter of fact, ESPN was in his literally infancy stage, literally. So, I mean, my thing is, we gotta figure out a way. Stop showing your age, Smitty. Tate, what's that? I just think it's only right. And here's what I love about Adam Silver. He is letting the players, be themselves and have their grievances or whatnot. But he is also being fair to the consumers, to the fans. I'm okay with the resting rule. I am totally fine. I'm fine with it. Says the NBA will incorporate a fine system for teams that begins with $100,000 for the first offense, $250,000 for the second offense, and $1 million more than the previous penalty for each additional fine. So, obviously they're going to have to continue to, to study the data and science of the injuries and how much rest is needed, which is fair. You don't want to, use and abuse these players, It's an 82 game schedule. It's not like you play 17 weeks in the NFL. So this is 82 game schedule. You know, you're not playing the full marathon like a baseball team, but 82 games is a lot. That's a lot of basketball. And so I understand the aspect of, hey, let's find a happy medium when it comes to resting, players so they're not getting injured. When you start getting exhausted, your body is just not clicking. It does open you up, make you susceptible to, some injuries. When your body is just saying like, hey, can't go, and which I understand. But we also got to get to the part where we find that happy medium to make sure that, hey, man, there's people that are literally hoping, wishing that they see you play basketball. Might be their only chance to see you. Everybody has different finances. I can tell you about my finances. I ain't a rich guy. I'm far from it. I am far from being a rich guy. But even if I did have the money, I worked hard for it, and I would love for if I take my daughters to go see, Kevin Durant and Booker and Bradley Beal. I'm hoping that I can see all three on the court. This resting rule is, hey, they're saying not all three of them guys can sit out at the same time, fully healthy. That's what this rule is saying. They're saying be available for your consumers, who are the lifeline to what you do. No fans, no money. No money, no league. That's how this works. It's pretty simple. So I really don't mind the rule at all. Matter of fact, hey, why the hell not? Why the hell not? Especially in when it comes to, making sure that it's, to me, it's just showing appreciation to the fans for showing you support players. And I'll be honest, I'm pretty sure there are players that are like, yo, I ain't never trying to rest. And I've also seen, matter of fact, Richard Jefferson, him talk about, hey, there's built-in rest days that teams have. And it's quote unquote to protect the player, protect his body. In hindsight, protect the investment. That's what they're saying. Because at the end of the day, if superstars get hurt, hello, are you still going to show up as a fan? Because I know there was one time me and wifey had tickets. We were still living in Carolina at the time. We weren't out here in Kansas City yet. It was Pat Mahomes, I want to say his second or third year. And we had tickets. We were going to come back to Kansas City, watch him and Aaron Rodgers. Pat got hurt when he went to the quarterback sneak and got hurt against Denver. We sold the tickets away. You know why? Because as a fan, as a consumer, I want to see the big names. So if the big names ain't there, cats is going to give up their tickets, don't even bother showing up. So you lost money on the parking, you done lost money on the concessions, you done lost money on the tickets. Because people ain't going to show up. Nobody's going to purchase game tickets to go see the reserves and the backups. I mean, so that in that aspect, I'm okay with the rule, but I'm not oblivious to the fact that the players, hey, they want their rest so that they're not, putting their bodies in jeopardy. And I understand both sides of this argument. But one thing that I can appreciate about Adam Silver is he is not afraid to address certain issues like this. And I applaud the man. So, hey, do what you got to do, Adam Silver. One thing I wish you would do as commissioner of the NBA, I would actually like it if you start, get your referees to start calling out all this traveling and carrying and stop all this whatever this mess is that you guys got going on. I don't even know half the time. But it would be nice. That's all I'm saying. That's all a brother is saying. Let's switch gears a little bit. Because speaking of rule changes, the NFL Players Association, they're looking for a rule change of their own. Let's take a listen. Yeah, come on. Come on. Here we go. What are you doing? All right. Let me get this situated. But anyway, it's pretty much talking about pretty much grass surfaces compared to field turf. And obviously, you know, this conversation has been brought up many a times in the NFL, but it's more prominent now because you start seeing more injuries. All right, let's see if we got it. No? Still? No? Oh, man, what's going on? All right. All right. So it looks like the clip ain't going to work for me, but the NFL Players Association's new executive director has called for the league to change all of its field surfaces to natural grass in the wake of Aaron Rodgers' season-ending injury. Obviously, he suffered the injury, the torn Achilles on Monday. MetLife Stadium installed a new surface this year called field turf, which is softer and has a more forgiving feel than the stadium's previous synthetic turf. So moving all stadium fields to high-quality natural grass surfaces is the easiest decision the NFL can make, Howe said. The players overwhelmingly prefer it, and the data is clear that grass is simply safer than artificial turf. It is an issue that has been near the top of the players list during my team visits and one I have raised with the NFL. And of course, you know, Roger Goodell, commissioner, he responded. He says, what we want to go is on science. I had an interview with First Take. We want to go on what's the best from an injury standpoint to prevent the injuries, to give our players the best possible surface to play on. That can't be done by my feeling of looking at a particular injury. It got to be done with the real process, to look at it with medical experts, look at it with engineers, look at it with people on the cleats, look at it on every aspect of what could go into that injury. And I have no issues with what Roger Goodell is saying. I'll say this. I know they want all grass surfaces. I know they do, but there's still some stadiums that are domed. Minnesota is a dome. Detroit is a dome. New Orleans is a dome. My thing is if you want all stadiums to do it, all of them, okay, so take your dome stadiums and put natural grass in it. I wish the science at on that, where how does a dome being over it affect natural grass? Does it mess with the moisture level? Is it, you know, I'm not a grass expert, but I know one thing for sure. You put a dome over something, it'll probably more than likely either dry it out, or how do you put a grass surface in the Superdome in New Orleans? How do you put a natural grass surface in Ford Field in Detroit, US Bank Stadium in Minnesota? Now, I play football. I prefer natural grass, just because it just feels good under my feet. And hey, I just preferred it. But when I was playing, we had the back in the day AstroTurf. We had to use the wear basketball shoes, because you weren't wearing cleats with that. And then in our new stadium, we did have the they call it the grassy turf. I don't know what they're calling it nowadays, but it used to have all the rubber pellets in the ground. you would still wear actual cleats. Look, they talking about using science, which I'm fine with. It is what it is. If you want to use the science to come to your conclusion on exactly what you should have for a surface, then stick with what you got. I'm not going to be the one to make that determination. But one thing I will say is, listen to the players on this one. Just don't look at the science. I would say listen to the players more because, hell, they're the ones that have to play on the surface. Hello? If they feel like, hey, I feel much safer running on natural grass, you know, I'm able to move a little bit better, make my cuts a little bit better. Why not? But it's just so ironic that, you know, some of this stuff is literally coming off the heels of an Aaron Rodgers injury. And it goes to show you, and you see it, which position matters most. Because they're not talking about the wide receivers getting injuries, offensive tackles getting injuries, running backs. They damn sure don't give a damn about running backs. But now it's really an issue after the fact because we just had another quarterback go down in a big name go down on field turf. And we don't know the true cause of that Achilles injury. We don't know if that's the playing surface that has to, you know, necessarily direct it towards. I mean, who knows? You can't sit here and just pinpoint, you know, reason or why injuries happen. You're part of the game. It's not like we don't get you know, injuries on natural grass, because there are injuries. But we'll find out. Matter of fact, all right, let's hear what good old Roger has to say. Finally, this clip got to go. All right, come on, Roger, talk to us.
Your vantage point that the players may have as it pertains to playing on AstroTurf instead of grass in this day and age?
Well, Stephen, you know, that's one of the things that we really focus on, player safety in general. Mm-hmm. But, you know, turf is a big part of that. And so when you look at the turf, you also got to look at the cleats. And there are a lot of factors. It's a complex issue. And it's one of the things we negotiated with a collective bargaining agreement to address this in a way that is done scientifically. Mm-hmm. So we are getting the right people. We have engineers to look at that. We'll look at the mechanism of injury on Aaron's injury and see what may have caused that. But unfortunately, we had two ACL injuries. And one was on grass and one was on the turf. Yep. By the way, a new turf that was just put in because there were some concerns about the split turf. Mm-hmm. That's been changed out at the Meadowlands. So from our standpoint, that's something we'll look at. We'll look deeply at it. You always want to try to get the best surfaces. FIFA will be in here. I'm meeting with the head of FIFA next week. They'll be playing World Cup. They will not be putting grass in. They'll be putting in a mixed grass with artificial surface. Mm-hmm. Something that we're working to try to see, is that a better surface for us? Because you got to look at climate too, Stephen. This isn't just about, you know, is a field going to be good in September? Is it also going to be good in December and January?
Yeah, I'm wondering though, but I mean, again,
I'm a pause right there because I think Roger Dale brought up some good points right there. Because it can't just be about, you know, just the grass surface in general. Is it the cleats? Is it, you know, how is this surface going to stand up in, you know, December, November, January, when the weather starts getting cold? I mean, we saw the debacle at the Super Bowl, and that was natural grass. It was under a dome, but, you know, out there in Arizona, they put the field outside and they roll it in. You know, it's retractable. So I think it's a like Goodell said, it's a lot of factors that you got to put in there. Smitty says if players are injured on natural grass, there should be an asterisk next to that injury because it may not have happened on turf, and that's something that has to be determined. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into this. All right. My fault. Having some technical difficulties. I don't know what the hell happened. Hey, but we back. We are back. All right. Let's kick this back into gear. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I do believe we are back. We are back. I do believe we are back. All right. So back into the middle of this conversation where we are with Roger Goodell.
Again, we could think about cost, we could think about safety, but I'm wondering if the players themselves gave the impression that they would rather play on grass as opposed to artificial turf, what would be the NFL's response to an assertion like that? If they said that to you guys, what would you say?
Well, they have said that in many cases, but you also have other players who like playing on a turf field because it's faster.
That's true.
So you've got a mixed opinions. What we want to go is on science. We want to go on what's the best from an injury standpoint to prevent the injuries, to give our players the best possible surface to play on. And that can't be done by my feeling of looking at a particular injury. It's got to be done with a real process and to look at it with medical experts, look at it with engineers, look at it with people on the cleats, look at it on every aspect of what can go into that injury, including the training and where a particular player is at any given time. So all those factors go into play. And that's where we make decisions on the basis of science, not because I see an injury that I don't like. Ultimately, I want our experts to come back and give it to us. And that's why we've engaged with this process and actually accelerated the process with the NFLPA to be able to get that kind of data so we can make those kind of decisions. And it's not my data. It's not our data. It's collectively the NFL and NFLPA. We all are doing the same work with the same team.
All right. Okay. Well, hey, look, at least Roger is showing that they, that they care about player safety. But in the back end of that, let's be honest, when Aaron Rodgers isn't available, that hurts the bottom line. When Tom Brady was injured for a whole year, what did it do? It affected the bottom line. It matters. Just like how I said, when Patrick Mahomes couldn't play against Aaron Rodgers a few years ago, I gave away my tickets. I sold them because I didn't want to see Matt Moore, who ended up playing for the Chiefs that day. I didn't care about seeing him. Is also, I know he's saying it's about the player safety and the science, but come on, at the same time, Roger Goodell, you should have kept it real. It's also about the bottom line. You don't want to sit there and have your bottom line affected because your top superstars aren't available. I mean, there is no coincidence. To me, it's no coincidence. At the end of the day, they want to make sure that, hey, I want to make sure that I keep my viewers glued on my product. And the best way to have them glued on my product is to have the best available people there. The best players need to be there. So I hear Roger in the say, hey, it's for the player safety, but it's still a money move. You could dress it up how much you want, Roger, but it's still about you can't be having all your superstars hurt, whether it's grass or synthetic, whatever it is. So of course he's going to exhaust all the factors going into that decision. He has to. That's his job. So I get what you're saying, Roger. But come on, man. We know what it's also about. And you can't fake the funk on that. But hey, there's other things that the NFL got to worry about too. All right. There's some behind the scenes stuff that is going on that they got to take care. And I'm talking about, lawsuits. You're starting to hear of these racial discrimination lawsuits against Pegula, who's the owner of the Buffalo Bills. And hey, Jerry Jones is named in that lawsuit. Let's kind of hear what they were talking about on that.
Is there legitimate concern from your vantage point that the players may have as it pertains to playing on AstroTurf instead of grass?
Not that one. Hey, I didn't. Come on. I didn't ask for that one. Hold on. Just give me a second, y'all. I know we having all kind of technical difficulties today on the show. I ain't never had these, type of issues before. So give me a second, y'all. We're going to get to it. We're going to get right. Here we go. All right. But no, when it comes to these lawsuits things, this is NFL. They handle their certain rules and regulations different from other sporting leagues. I think that's fair to say, because we saw how the NBA handled Donald Sterling with his racial sayings that he has said. But let's take a listen to what Roger had to say.
Quote from Jerry Jones, August of 2020, the lawsuit claims, if blacks feel some kind of way, they should buy their own team and hire who they want to hire. In fairness to Jerry Jones, his response, team statement, diversity and inclusion are extremely important to me personally and to the NFL. The representation made by Jim Trotter of a conversation that occurred over 3 years ago with myself and our VP of player personnel, Willie McClay, is simply not accurate. Pegula, owner, Buffalo Bills. If black players don't like it here, they should go back to Africa and see how bad it is. That's what the lawsuit claims. Pegula, he says that's absolutely false, adding that he was horrified that anyone would connect me to an allegation of this kind. So we have two owners in the National Football League that are being accused of something obviously of this ilk. We know the history involving Colin Kaepernick and how ultimately a settlement was reached with his situation. We've got Brian Flores, who's an assistant coach in Pittsburgh last year. He's now in Minnesota, who's a former head coach in Miami. And he's made claims of racial discrimination and racial strife that exists within the National Football League. As the commissioner of the National Football League since 2006, how do you feel when you hear those kind of allegations being thrown against the league?
Well, to put the emphasis on it, they're allegations, Stephen. So our job is to make sure, are they factual? These are not new charges. They're actually a couple of years old.
Yes.
They've been looked into. You've heard the strong denials. There's litigation ongoing now. Mm-hmm. It will be addressed. And it'll be addressed important because they are very important issues and we share the same concern. We want to make sure our workplaces are first class and that means opportunities for everybody. We know the importance of progress and diversity and we're working very hard at it. Is progress where we want it to be? No. Right. It's always slower than you want it to be, but I'm confident that we're moving in the right direction.
Are you though? Are you moving in the right direction though? I mean, hey, I kind of talked about it a little bit last year or last night on last night's episode. Look, the NFL, when it comes to just building a inclusive work environment, they got a long way to go, and that not just racial, but even with gender. There needs to be more. I believe, there's nothing wrong with being more diverse when it comes to hiring minorities or women. I don't think there's an issue with trying to get involved with that. They got to do a better job at doing it. But one thing that I've always said about the NFL is put your work where your mouth is, as in stop saying it and do it, because they can put, inspire change and end racism on the fields and on shirts and T-shirts and on the back of helmets, on decals, all they want. But where's the action in it? It needs to be more. So the fact that you got a prominent owner like Jerry Jones being accused of racial discrimination, to me, I know it's accusations, but sometimes when there's smoke, there's fire. And the thing about it is will it get handled? Because he says it's going to get handled. But what does that entail exactly? Because we always got to remember, Jerry Jones is bringing in $1 billion a year. I mean, he just He was the first owner last year of North American sports, an owner of a team that brought in revenue-wise $1 billion. Now, what exactly is the punishment for that? Because we saw what the NBA did. They said, Sterling, you being disrespectful and saying all these bad comments, they kicked him out. They booted him out. Matter of fact, they forcefully took his team from him, made him sell. Daniel Snyder just sold his team, and he reluctantly did it. He did it because he saw that sponsorships were starting to leave and jump ship and not give him any more money. So he only did that because he was beginning to lose money. You know? So my thing is when it comes to Jerry Jones, who's bringing in $1 billion, how much is the NFL is going to really, really punish him? Because they're seeing the money that he's bringing in. Now is the NFL willing to just get rid of an owner that's bringing in $1 billion? I doubt that. So I'm curious to see what is the actual punishment for these, allegations, and if they are found to be true. What is the true punishment? Because Roger Goodell could say, "Oh, it'll be handled." Okay, but what does that actually mean? Roger? Because I can tell you one thing. We've seen it time and time again. NFL, hell, Major League Baseball, NBA, when it comes to social issues, off the field, off the court, off the baseball diamond, sometimes get overlooked off of what brings in the revenue. It has. I love Michael Vick, but they gave that man a second chance. There was people that was raising hell about his situation with the dog fighting and all that. And he came back and got another $100 million contract. So how much did you really was against what he did? You know what I'm saying? A lot of things, it happens all the time. Things get overlooked by what you bring in revenue-wise. So I understand what he's saying, but at the same time, I've seen different from the NFL. Because Jerry Jones, he's been involved with other lawsuits that ain't been involved with just racial discrimination. I mean, it took him forever to get rid of Daniel Snyder. I mean, we just got to be 100% frank about it. So I get what is being brought up, what's being said, and we're gonna take care of it, but to what extent? You see the difference how things get handled in certain different leagues. I'm telling you, they when they heard them tapes of Donald Sterling in the NBA, they said Adam Silver said we won't tolerate it. Got his ass up out of there. Say you got to go. NFL, they not so quick to just make owners just go away, because they are at the head of franchises that are worth billions of dollars and bringing in revenue. The revenue keeps going up, year by year in NFL. So if you're gonna go down this road, Goodell, about morality when it comes to social issues, how far are you willing to take it? That's just, to me, that's the biggest question that really needs to get asked is, how far are you willing to take it? Are you willing to sacrifice the $1 billion that Jerry Jones is bringing in and telling them, hey, man, we ain't with that. Go sit down. So how far are you willing to take it? Hey, look, and I'm not just going to, pick on Jerry Jones and Pegula from Buffalo Bills. I'm pretty sure there are other owners in the NFL that probably have the same sentiments of Jerry Jones and Pegula. They just probably ain't been caught saying nothing yet. So, I mean, let's be honest. John Gruden only got caught and in trouble from some emails that was sent to the Washington team. And the only reason why they found that out is because they was investigating the Washington team at the point and found his mess, and they had to hold him accountable to it. But I'm willing to bet that, come on, whatever else was in their findings was probably a lot more worse than what Gruden has said. Call a spade a spade. So, I mean, hey, if you're gonna go down that route, you gotta convey it to your consumers on how far you're willing to go and to curtail this type of behavior going on in the NFL. The only problem is you're talking about behavior that's probably been going on for a long time in the NFL. This ain't nothing new. This ain't nothing, that just started happening yesterday. And like I said last night, hey, NFL wasn't caring about no social issues when it comes to race and none of that shit till the whole Kaepernick shit went down. Everything was gravy. We got to always remember that everything was gravy in the NFL until that Kaepernick situation went down. Then they was like, oh, I guess we got to start being, socially conscious. Like it's to me, it's weird how one matter happened and it got national media. Matter of fact, worldwide media, because that Kaepernick situation was talked about worldwide at a nauseating volume. And then you start seeing the inspired change, equality. So it's more like they was trying to, PR cleanup. But how far are you willing to go with this PR cleanup? You feel me? What's up? Hey, man, appreciate it. A little Tario, how you doing? Glad you joined the show. KC representing in the house. I always got a KC bucket on my head. If not, KC Lakers, Missouri. That's as far as I go. But I mean, we just gotta call a spade, and if you're gonna dive into this, being socially conscious effort, Roger Goodell, how far are you willing to go? And you can't just turn a blind eye to certain owners who are bringing in $1 billion like Jerry Jones, and you just say, nah, man. If you're gonna go down that route, you gotta dive into it. But at the end of the day, we know who Roger works for, right? He don't work for the players. Y'all know who signs Roger Goodell's contract. Y'all know who votes on whether to renew his contract, right? It's the owners. So to me, in my opinion, that plays a conflict of interest on how far he's willing to go down that rabbit hole. Because at the end of the day, if those owners don't like the way he's going or handling it, they were like, hey, bro, next commissioner, please. That's some real. They if they don't like what the way he's going on the direction with this, hey, man, yeah, nix that contract. We'll go find another guy who have our best interest as owners. Because we got to be frank and think about the human behavior on this part, as in when you are a billionaire, you don't like to get told what to do because you believe you got fuck you money, as in damn how you feel about this, damn how you feel about that. I'm rich, bitch. So he works with owners. So if they don't like it, I'm telling you, they'll find a way to get him up out of that seat. Don't believe me? Let Roger start feeling like he needs to change the whole culture in the NFL and be, pro-inclusive, pro-equality, and actually, put action into the words. It's all fine and dandy putting the stuff on the sideline and on the hats and the merchandise, but if he starts going with action and the owners don't like it, oh, trust and believe. Hey, I hope you enjoyed your time here, Roger. But you're going to have to get up out of here. We don't like you messing with our money. Oh, no. Come on now. We got to be real about it. One more topic before we get up out of here. So I got to give a shout out to my man, Darren Smith, great guy, great reporter out here in Kansas City. He works closely reporting on the Kansas City Chiefs. And, Chris Jones finally ended his holdout. And he asked our hard-hitting questions that most people are afraid to ask. But let's take a listen to Darren Smith at the presser with Chris Jones, his first presser after, ending the holdout.
Chris, man, good to see you, brother.
Welcome back.
When you began your holdout, this obviously wasn't what you were expecting to get to this point right here, but what was the deciding factor for you to sign the deal that you did? Was the holdout worth it? And more importantly, are you happy with your representation?
Absolutely. I chose my representation like years ago. I kind of made that decision not to come to camp. I don't want to be a distraction of holding in. And I'm super pleased with how it turned out. I'm back in the building. I'm excited to be back. Thankful for the organization that was able to boost my salary up to make up for the fines and everything. I'm super grateful for that. And we're focused on winning the next game. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars coming in. Very good team. Coming off a loss to Detroit Lions, which is tough. But yeah, we're looking for a bounce back week.
What assurances did you have? What assurances did you have that you weren't going to be tagged next season? And on top of that, do you think this might be your last year with the Chiefs?
I can't look forward to next year. Right now, we're focused on. I'm glad to be back this year. This is my last year. Hopefully, we can get something worked out after the year for long term. I reiterated multiple times. I plan to play for the Kansas City Chiefs for a long haul in my career. That doesn't change because of the past situation. And we focus on Jacksonville, man. We focus on Jacksonville.
One of the things that you talked about was being Defensive Player of the Year. We saw what Nick Bosa got. Did that have any inclination in how you negotiate with the Chiefs? But also on top of that, is that still should be a main priority for you based off of your incentive. How motivated are you going to be to try to accomplish that this year?
I'm always motivated to be the best, not only in my position, but the best in the league. When Nick Bosa done respectfully, he deserved. That has nothing to do with me. I'm proud of him out there. Keep raising the bar for future D linemen to continue to raise up in salary. You gotta like that, but no, it had nothing to do with me. Sorry.
All right, Chris. It had nothing to do with you. Come on, man. The human nature in me says that I don't buy that. Come on, Chris Jones. What Nick Bosa got, it had to affect your thought process. It had to. Come on now. But one thing that I really don't believe is you feel you had the right representation. Because I don't think you did. I think you got bad advice from the Katz brothers. And you may not say it because they're your agents, but remember, they work for you. You can sit there and take the blame and say, oh, well, it was my decision to hold out because I didn't want to be a distraction. And you rather not hold in and be a distraction. Come on. You being a holdout was more of a distraction than anything. Because that was anything that anybody reporting on the Chiefs ever talked about. That was the only thing, was the holdout. When is he coming back? Is he going to get signed? Is he going to get the long-term contract? You can't sit up here and tell me that you felt you had the right representation. You're not going to get them. You're not going to get nowhere close to the money that you wanted, and you didn't get the long-term extension. Come on. I love you, Chris Jones, but keep it a buck. Keep it a Kobe Bean. Keep it real. You got bad representation. I said it last night. You should fire them fools, them bozos you call agents. Because that 1 year deal that you got, you still got the same amount of money that you was going to get paid this last year. The only thing is you're adding incentives to possibly get it up to probably around 25 and some change, 25 million and some change. When you had on the table at least 27, so you didn't even get to the amount that you possibly could have had if you had taken the extension that the Chiefs had offered you. Come on now. It's okay to admit that it just didn't work out for you, because in my eyes, it didn't. It leaves you in the same situation next year. It leaves you in the same situation. So you can't sit up here and tell me that, you know, at the end of the season, you're going to be happy with the situation. And granted, I want you to be all pro. I want you, you know, to get those incentives. I really want you to get those incentives, because when you hit those incentives, that means you're playing well, and hopefully it bleeds to the defense playing well. But the fact of the matter is, don't sit up here and tell me that, oh my guys, you know, I got the right representation. It played out exactly how I wanted. No, it didn't. You wanted long-term money, and you didn't get it. Be real. Be frank. Be honest about the situation. Come on now. And here's the thing. I've been crying into the hills. These players, especially in the NFL, you guys got to start getting more business savvy when it comes to these situations. You got to become more proficient in business talk and making better business moves, making money moves, like Cardi B would say. You got to make better money moves, because this move it wasn't a raise. They didn't give you no raise. What they did is they put the carrot in front of you and say, go get the carrot. That's all they did. They dangled the carrot in front of you. Hey, Brett Veach and the Chiefs won in this scenario, because guess what? You're back in the building. You're back in the fold, and you can. Hey, we got to be honest. You can possibly help the Chiefs get another Super Bowl victory with you in the building. But they won this scenario because, believe it or not, those incentives that you got in this new contract, the Chiefs don't have to honor you. You know, you got some incentives that are you know, play based, as in a percentage of plays that you play on the field. You know, 35%, 65% comes with a different money amount. You know, y'all, hey, come on. You don't tell me that when there are incentives on the line for players to get paid more money if you hit those certain markers, y'all don't believe that the GM, hey, Andy. Yeah, he's getting close to that 65%. That's another $1 million. Stop playing his ass. Y'all don't think that don't happen? Y'all don't think that has ever happened in the NFL? Come on now, let's not be naive. When it comes to saving money, and hey, even if it's at the sacrifice of, you know, certain the quality of play, you don't think that owners and GMs aren't looking at certain things like that? Like, hey man, this guy is a tackle away from like a $200,000 bonus. Sit his ass. Come on now, let's not be naive. So the Chiefs won in this situation. You didn't, Chris. You didn't win in this situation. And I know what you said in the presser, and shout out again to Darren Smith. But come on, man. You players got to get smart. Y'all got to start playing. Y'all got to start playing business. These owners are playing chess, and y'all players are in this business game with some business sharks. Most of these owners probably ain't never played football. They see these franchises as investments, as business moves. So they're always going to think about it in a business aspect and not necessarily in the football aspect. Come on now. So as a player, you got to start knowing how business gets done. You got to start thinking about not only your career, but when it comes to these negotiations with the CBA, the negotiations with contracts, when it comes to your career and your financials and the money that you want, you got to start thinking business wise, and you cannot think about it as football moves. You got to think about it as business moves. because these owners, David Tepper, a billionaire, his billions was not made in sports. It was made in business adventures, hedge funds. We're talking about business moves. These dudes are thinking business minded. These 31 owners are thinking about the business moves. Jerry Jones didn't make $1 billion thinking about the football aspect. No, he made $1 billion off of marketing his team, the popularity of his team, and everything business-wise that adds to the bottom line. He was not thinking about it as in, football move, I got to do this and this because of the football. No. He was always thinking about the business part and how it affects the revenue. Business. Got to smarten up, players. Start thinking business-minded and not just football. You got to be more than just a football player when it comes to negotiations with everything in NFL. That's just the bottom line. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for bearing with me through these technical difficulties. Had some technical difficulties tonight. I never had that. Show just froze up in the middle of the show. I didn't like that. I did not like that. But no, you see it on the bottom of the screen. Tap in with us. I.O.W. Sports Network, Facebook, Instagram, and most importantly, right here on the YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe, spread the word what we got going on. Hit that bell notification every time we drop new content. And tap in with us. All the social media platforms on the bottom. Shout out again to Sideline Sports, Let's Talk Sports, Man Down Sports, Bottom Line Sports, and of course, 613 Fade Productions with my brothers over there, the Man Cave Sports Podcast. Hey, we're going to be back here tomorrow night. We got over the hump day, and it's on to Thursday. We're definitely going to talk some Vikings and Eagles tomorrow. That's our Thursday night game. But until then, Wildcard Mar, peace and love. We out.
Come on. Silent Hill TDS. Hitchhikers.
Yeah, smoking so much dope, I'm seeing traces. Visual lasers, load across the scene is dangerous, aggressive like behavior. Couple monsters for my neighbors, resisting human nature. Persistently getting greater, bloodshed like the Terminator. Fire up the green, I need it, increase the dopamine. Feel better, so I kill better, doped up of cocaine. Roaming like I never had a home, so I'm all alone. Smoking bones down the chromosomes till the filter's gone. Suffocating under heavy pressure, the signature marks are the cornerstone of a nigga that's ready to spark. Like the pathway through the treacherous, wonderful dark. Searching for a lost spark, curators of a lost art. Desperately holding shit together until it falls apart. Blood stuck to pulling the water, just waiting on the shark. Love is the deadliest game, but I'll just massacre your heart. Tearing at your body, wondering how did we start from?
Man, I think a nigga about to spaz out, cause I don't give a fuck no more when I'm down to my last night. Then I ran out of luck, feeling look down, about to pass out. Speeding down the highway in this challenge, afraid I got out and crash out. Dump the ash out, give it all up, dump the cash out. Make every second count, I just wanna see that ass bounce. Bitch, what you talking about? Drop dead, delete the part of nigga, watch your damn mouth. You don't wanna get me started.
Go. Pedal to the metal, hit the floor. Flying through the city, and that's about to float. Grab the main, grab a shit get ghost. You already know how this can go, I'm about to leave. Slide through the streets and need for speed. Feel the breeze, fingers twisting up the sweet. If you're looking for a baby, you gon' see. Pay attention, bitch, I